Okay, this is KeNneth Bach from Daytona Beach. This is one last little video. It's going to be real short, but it's for your pleasure. And I want to say, I've already had my suit and tie on, and I know how to tie a double Windsor. I already had my dress shirt on, and I already had my hat on to show you that, you know, who you're going to trust. Appearance is everything. Now we're going to talk about one thing. This is for the young people today. When you go for a job interview, your first impression is the most important. Now let's get a few facts here. You see, I don't have no tattoos, but that's not saying I don't like tattoos. But I'm saying if you have a bunch of tattoos, I'm not saying you're not proud of them, but if you're going for a job interview, wear a long sleeve shirt, cover up a little bit, give the first impression. You can show your boss later on that you have tattoos, that's fine. But show them how capable you are of being what he's looking for, okay, or she's looking for. And same goes for you young ladies, okay? If you go to a job interview, wear a nice dress or a nice dress suit, they call them, I guess, for women, but wear something that makes you presentable. And I'm going to give you an example of one of the jobs I got hired. I was on my way home, and at the time, I want to say, I don't think there were cell phones, I don't remember. But anyway, he called my house before I even got home and said I was hired. And I'll show you how that happened. Because, first of all, I'm a good listener. And when it's my turn to speak, I think before I speak. And I say to you young people, think before you speak. Try not to cuss when you're in a job interview. Show the interviewer that you know how to speak, okay? And try not to sweat. But no, look them in the eyes. Look them in the eyes, okay? And what I do, it's all in the way you leave them at the end, okay? And this is how I've got many of job opportunities when I went. This is how I got hired in one of the car businesses. I was in the car business 15 years. I was a motivational speaker when I first started out, but I'll tell you all about that later. But I want to say this is what I do. When they stand up and I stand up, I shake their hand, whether it's a man or woman. And as I'm shaking their hand, I shake them with both hands. I shake them like this, okay? And if you're a man or woman, do that. Shake them with your hand and put your hand behind. Even if they put their hand out with two hands, shake them with two hands. And look them right in the eye and say, I want to say one thing. If you're a salesperson, you can change this a little bit if you're getting into something else, an engineer, whatever. But as a salesperson or as a manager, I say, I want to say one thing. I'm going to make you a lot of money. And I look them in the eyes and I say, thank you very much. And I walk out the door, see? And when I leave, that one gentleman, his name was Mike Hudson. This was at John Hall Chevrolet, by the way. He called my house. I was hired before I got home, okay? And I went back with a chuckle when I went to work. I said, what made you hire me so quick? He says, because of what you said. And see, I know if I go see Mike Hudson today, he knows, he remembered that. Because him and me became good friends, you see. And but not everybody has the same opportunity. But I can say one thing. You can create your own opportunities. You can create your own future. And as a young person, you know, you might feel you're going nowhere. Well, the best way to change your life is to write something down that you want to accomplish or your goal. And I'm going to give you an example. And this is one of my favorite sayings. I learned it when I was in my 20s, when I became a speaker. And I use it to this day, okay? Here we go. I'm going to say it twice because I want you to really hear it. The palest ink is stronger than the strongest memory. Here we go. I'm going to say it again. The palest ink, that means you can barely see it, is stronger than the strongest memory. And what that means is write it down. But now, I'm going to give you an example. If you look back in history, anything that was written down in books, okay, the Bible, great books that were written, okay, we still can read them and study them, but the great minds of the past, they're gone. And if they didn't write it down, or nowadays in a video, what they learned and what they could pass on, unless we discovered it, like we discover things, you know, when we dig up things and we discover, like in Reed Canal here, they discovered an old sloth, they call it. You can look in the museum. That's a fact. I like to state facts, by the way. But 13-foot sloth they discovered in Reed Canal when they were making Reed Canal. But that's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about written words they discovered also on walls and stuff like that from thousands of years ago. But and you know there was intelligent people back then, but we weren't able to consume their wisdom because they didn't write it down or they didn't have videos back then. Okay, I'm saying some of them that did, we get to see the works they did. There's paintings from years ago. Okay, so all I can say is write something down, make yourself a goal, make your life a challenge, not for someone else, and don't, for you guys, if you're following a good-looking girl and she's going nowhere, you're following the wrong person. If you're a good-looking girl and you're following a guy that's going nowhere, and it has nothing to do with your goals or anything, or he has no goals, you might want to make a change. Or fix it. You can fix them. You can talk to them about your goals and maybe help them get their goals. So I'm saying there is ways to make a difference, but don't go down a road that you'll feel like all you did was make a mistake all your life. See, I made some mistakes in my life. Okay, I was married for 23 years. I'm the one that destroyed it. Okay, I admit it because I had to tell my wife of something I did. Okay, and she couldn't forgive me, so we had to go our separate ways. But the thing is, you have to forgive in order to cure yourself. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You have to make the right decision when you get up. And like when I get up, I'm just like you. I'm not motivated from the time I get up. You know, I said I'm a motivational speaker. I'm not pumped up. I don't jump out of bed. I have my moments where I barely want to get up. Today I didn't get up till I got up at 8 and took my dogs out and I went back to sleep. You know why? Because I didn't get enough sleep. And I believe in sleep very, very much so. Okay? Because if you don't get enough sleep, you're miserable all day. But when I get enough sleep, look out. I can tear you apart. Okay? But what I'm saying is make a decision for you. If you're a young person listening to this, make a decision on how you want to look in life. Do you want to look healthy? Do you want to eat healthy? Or do you want to eat candy bars all your life? Or do you want to have acne all your life? Or do you want to, how do you want to look? Do you want to comb your hair and, you know, excuse me, but I'm sweating a little bit, but I have this look for a reason, okay? Because that's in another story. I don't want to tell you about my look right now. But what I am saying to you is, if you want to be successful, follow me. I'll be a good leader for you. I'll be a good demonstration for you. I'll try not to ever cuss. When I do cuss, it might be 1 or 2 words. Like it's one word that I say, and I'm going to say it in this video. It's a cuss word. But really, I always say words have 2 meanings. This says hustle. Hustle has 2 meanings, okay? You can figure that out in my next video. But you see all these other words on here. If you zoom in, you can see other words. But my word is today is I don't speak no bullshit. Now a bull really does shit in the woods, so that's 2 meanings. But what I mean I don't speak no bullshit is, you know, I try to tell the truth 99% of the time, okay? And I learned something. This is from, I went to jail last year for one night, okay? Behind my convenience store. And in that thing, there was a little white lie, okay? Only because I learned something from a President of the United States, actually, Jimmy Carter. He said this, and you can look that up. He said sometimes you got to tell a little white lie to get to the truth, okay? And I told the truth in the end, but I didn't know what was happening and why I was getting arrested until it all went down. But it was in the last word that gentleman said that saved me, see? Because I believe in, I'm going to get a little technical now for you. I'm going to get into a little detail here, but about training your subconscious mind. And I guess, why is he switching to that subject? Here we go, but I'm going to tell you why. See, in my 20s, as a speaker, I learned how to train my subconscious mind. And I'm going to give you something that people pay big money for, okay? But before I do, hold on, I want to make sure the video is still working, because I'm the only one that does my videos. Yes, it is. We're almost into 10 minutes, but I'm going to say, and I'm sweating, but that's okay. And I say, let's walk through life. I like to throw that together. And I'm going to put my glasses on. Not to be too cool, but just to be, so you can't see me in case I start crying. But getting back to the subconscious mind. You can train your subconscious mind to work for you. Did you hear what I just said? You can train your subconscious mind to work for you. Now here's how you do it. Like I said, people pay big money for this to try to understand it. And some of them don't get it. Some people will never get it. The way you do it, it's very simple. You take your goal, you write it down. Remember I said the palest ink is stronger than the strongest member? You write it down. You put it in your pocket. But the thing is, you look at it for 30 days. When you train your subconscious, it'll almost automatically take over and do things for you. But I'm talking about how to train your subconscious. The way you train it, you write it down, put it in your pocket, you look at it every day for 30 days. Not 15 days, not 5 days, not 45 days. 30 days seems to be the magic number. Okay? When you look at it for 30 days, all of a sudden your subconscious, almost like he gets on your shoulder and says, Ken, I got the solution to, and I understand what you want to do. And I'm going to throw something else out there. You think this is going off the subject, but not really. I'm going to say it like this. Every problem contains within itself the seeds to its own solution. I'm going to say that again. Every problem contains within itself the seeds to its own solution. Now here we go. What happens, and I'm going to give you an example of how your subconscious is working for you. Have you ever woke up in the middle of the night and you had something written down and all of a sudden you got the answer to it? Well, that's your subconscious working for you, because your subconscious never sleeps. Did you hear what I said? Never sleeps, okay? And it woke you up, and Paul McCartney used to do this, okay? Just to give you an example. That's how he wrote some of his songs. He might be driving in the car and get a thought and write it down, see? But what happens is your subconscious starts working on it, starts putting it together, and before you know it, you have the solution to your problem. The problem is you wanted to write a song. Or for myself, in my situation when I got arrested, the last thing he said, I figured it out, see? But what I do is I plant seeds. And if you look at the video of when I got arrested, one of the seeds I planted, and I didn't even know at the moment why I said it, but I said it because my subconscious was tapping me on the shoulder and said, Ken, say this. And I also said exactly what I did with my weapon, on how I put it on my toolbox in my trunk. I actually put it away because I wanted the police to hear what I had to say first, because I didn't know there was 10 people. They say 10. I thought there was 5. It might have been more. It might have been 12. I don't know. But the point is, there was people that were his friends that I didn't know what they were going to say. But my subconscious, because of what the last thing he said, I figured it out. My subconscious said, this is what I said. I like to date young black women. I think that's how I said it. Or black women. Whatever I said. But I said it because of the last thing he said. My subconscious told me to say that because that was part of what happened, but I didn't know why at the moment. But see, when I got out of jail that next day, I ran to this person's grandmother's house, to say it like that. She knew everything about our relationship. Well, then I figured out, and it all worked out, and because I did the legwork. And here's another thing I believe. If you put in the legwork, you will get results. Now I'm going to throw it to something else. And I'll come back to that. But I like to jump around a little bit, only because I know you're intently listening, I hope. I hope I'm doing a good job. But the point is, I hope you're listening to say, wow, this guy kind of makes sense. But, by the way, I've never arrested before that. I'm 60 years old. Never been arrested in my life, okay? And I told that to the officers. But what they failed to do, and I say this because it's the fact, is they didn't check me out thoroughly at the moment, and they didn't check my accuser out at the moment, okay? Because come to find out, I forgive him, so you know, but it was a setup, okay? Like I said, I can't say much now, but that's down the road. But now let's get back to this other thing about your subconscious working for you. When you train it, it's like, I can't put a number on it, but it's like having 100 to 1,000 people working for you, because it's always working. It's always trying to take you on your journey, okay? Because when you get it, just like buying a house, when you get it, you'll always live in your own house or your own apartment, okay? Because there's tax benefits, but there's all kind of benefits. The real benefit is, I always say, put your feet on the ground and get focused. Now, let me give an example on that. Because when you put your feet on the ground, and let's say every day you come in your house, and I'm going to use an example here. You put your keys down in a certain spot every day, right? Okay? Sounds kind of simple, right? Well, what that does is when you put your feet on the ground in a place you're renting or own, but I recommend owning. I bought my first house when I was 20. When you put your feet on the ground, your mind is at ease, and unpack. I want to say unpack. Because when you're unpacked, and you see I got a lot of things, but the thing is, that's not the issue here. I like to change because I want to see if you're really listening. But when you unpack, it puts your mind at ease to focus on other things, and one of them is your future, okay? If you want to collect cars, it'll get your mind on that. If you want to collect houses, I had 9 houses and a convenience store at one time, okay? And when the things went bad, I gave back $650,000 worth of houses, lost $150,000 on my own money. You know why I know that? Because I was there, I lived it. And I gave one of the houses back to one of my private lenders. We made him over $90,000. He was happy to get it back, and we're still friends. See? But what I'm getting at is when you put your feet on the ground, you can focus on your future. This is KeNneth Bach. Thanks for listening. Check out my next video. It's even better than this one. Bye-bye now.